It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. And I was going to say, do we have a treat for you? But I don't actually know if this is a treat. Watching this finale, I have to say I have my opinions. But again, as always, like I always say, I don't want to just give you my opinions. I like to bring on some other talented creators. And today is no different. Today we have Kempire joining us. So without further ado, and I really don't know why they say that, but without further ado, let's bring up Kempire.
Hey.
Hi, Kempire. You ready to get hit by my bus today?
No. Really?
I'd like to start off that way, you know?
I thought you might be nice today. You know, it's hump day.
Well, okay, that's a reason. Listen, I'll think on that for a second. And maybe that might change the whole course of how this video is going to go. But I have to start by saying, one, if you guys haven't already smashed that like button, make sure you do it. And two, thank you, Kempire, for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on the road.
Wait, speaking of running over by a bus, so I'm just going to call you Leah this entire video then.
Oh my gosh, we should take on who we would actually be on the show during this reunion.
I thought that, and then I was just like, I didn't have enough time to get a costume together.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not trying that hard, so maybe I would be Leah. Okay.
Did they try that hard?
I mean, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, so let's talk about this finale for a second, because guys, for a finale, normally we have, and I just want to share a moment that I've had where I've talked with someone who is a producer for a show. I was around the filming for it. It was in West Hollywood. I'm going to give you as much hints as possible without actually saying it, because I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say it. But I was around the show. It was focused around bartenders and servers, and they were filming a finale. And when they were, there was nothing really happening, right? I see you, smart Alec. While they were filming the finale, this producer, executive producer, who we all love, comes out and is like, I don't know what to do. Like, they're not giving us anything. And if they want to get picked up for another season, they have to give us something. Like, it has to be, we need drama. And eventually at the end of the night, they got the memo. So they brought the drama. But it's like, where were the producers in this moment? Sure, we want the resolution that comes with the conflict. But this episode, did we just get all of the conflict at the beginning of the season and then it just fizzled out? I'm not quite understanding. This was not a finale for me.
I was just telling you before this that a lot of people were hitting me up. Oh my God, did you see RHONY? I'm thinking, oh my God, it must have been an epic episode. I watched it twice and I'm still like, what was this? Oh. And I've turned a page on some of these Housewives, and I might have changed my opinion on one.
Okay. That's interesting. We got to get into that. But, you know, picking up on this Galentine's, this is where we picked up where they were all talking about Harry, right? Did I get that
Harry
right?
Dubin.
Harry Dubin. I almost said Harry Hamlin. That's tonight. Okay, oh. Harry Dubin. We'll get into that later. But Harry Dubin, and they're all talking about it. He ends up calling, and the older women in the scene are all giddy. They're like, "Oh, Harry's on the phone." And Ebony and Leah are like, they look like a bunch of like just hyenas trying to get on Harry Dubin. And even though Sonia Morgan's playing the hard to get card, and she's like, I don't want nothing to do with you because you slept with all my friends, you old frat boy. It was odd. And then after that, Ramona flashing the pasties and then watching a bunch of, you know, women, which, listen, we're all beautiful no matter what age, what size, right? Well, most of us, no matter what age and what size. But I didn't need to see Ramona, LUANN, and the women, even though body positive over here, I didn't need to see them running around in pasties for our finale. That's just not what really, I wasn't looking forward to that. Actually,
I was actually impressed with the breasts.
I was impressed with the breast too, but as soon as, like, I have Jason over here and I'm trying to get him to watch RHONY with me, and as soon as this comes up, he's like, I don't need to see this. Like, I'm going in the room and I'm going to go watch C on Apple. I'm like, okay,
ooh,
go watch C.
I have to ask Jason about that. I want to know if that's good.
Oh, it's actually, he got me sucked in. But, you know, I get where he's coming from, because again, at the end of the day, we've watched so many of these franchises from start to finish, season 1 to whatever season they're on now. 13. And the finale is like something that we're sitting there with our popcorn and we're canceling plans. We're like, shit, this is going to be good. I can't wait for this. I didn't get that.
No, not at all. And I wasn't really excited for the finale because the season has been lackluster, and RHONY, they really failed me. And I've been a big fan of RHONY. It's the only city that I've watched like from season 1 to whatever season it is now multiple times. I've never done that, not even with Atlanta. So it was a big disappointment, and I don't think it just rests on the ladies. It rests on casting, it rests on production. And next week we're getting a never seen before, secrets revealed episode.
Why though?
Well, yeah, but we need a secrets revealed of the Real Housewives of Potomac. I need to see the dragation in the reunion part 1, please.
Yes, I want a secrets revealed of a different franchise, and the only reason that they're giving us this little cockamamie season episode scenes revealed never before seen is because somebody's responsible for the reunion not being taped on time, or else we would have gotten the reunion. So again, like you said, we don't really need that. I'm reading in here, and some people are like, a canary, like sleeping. Bring on Salt Lake City. And see Bethany and Dorinda's reactions to the pasties. LOL. Okay. It was filmed during a pandemic, y'all. Naomi. We know Naomi, but so was Potomac. Look at their ratings.
But we have to keep in mind, we do have to keep this in mind. I'm tired of the COVID, excuse, but it is a real excuse. But we also have to keep in mind that every state was handling it very differently. And New York took it so serious because at one point we were the epicenter. So there were a lot of restrictions in comparison to other states.
I get that, but also, the women being inside of a house and all filming together, that wasn't limited from, by what they could bring by COVID. I understand the cast trips and certain situations where like we had Leah on FaceTime. I get though, actually, I didn't even understand why she was on FaceTime, but I get certain restrictions. I'm not knocking that. That's not why this failed in my eyes. It failed because we did not have enough women. There was not a lot of drama. And the drama that we did get seems so manufactured, like Leah popping off on Heather Thompson for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I don't even know if it necessarily needed more women. Of course, that helps, as we see in Beverly Hills, but we need women that actually have interesting storylines. Yes, Ramona and Sonia and LUANN brought a lot over the years, but it's kind of gotten boring with them. So it's time to kind of shake things up. And they try to shake things up with Leah and the addition of Ebony, and they weren't enough.
And, I love Bershawn, and we've had her on here. We've talked to her together, but I even think in this episode, I liked her presence. I'm not knocking her. It didn't bring anything. It was nice and refreshing, but it didn't bring any dramatic nothing. You know what I mean? There was nothing.
You're being very kind. Bershawn brought nothing. She brought nothing, and that's part of the reason.
You said it. Bershawn, if you're watching, Kempire said it. I love you. He threw you under the bus.
Bershawn and I talk in DMs. Bershawn understands I'm a straight shooter. I'm not going to play with her. The last couple of weeks we've talked about on the Real Housewives of New York, and I said, where's Bershawn? I want Bershawn to be on at least the episode. But in this finale, it was sort of like, womp, womp, womp. And then her impersonation of Sonia, I literally, when I thought about coming on here dressed up, Sonia was the first person. She is so easy to impersonate. You can go all the way, and you just came with pretty much a Bershawn outfit.
Yeah, you could have at least went to Party City and got a $20 cheap blonde, like goofy looking little wig. And, you could have like stashed money and went to Chase and got a Morgan little file or something and put it in your pocketbook or said something. You could have done something.
I just want to point out a comment that I literally just saw. Sarah Smile says, Kempire needs a shirt with tire marks on it. You're right, Sarah.
Actually, Sarah, you're right. So Kempire, just like Sean can go to Party City and get that wig, I will go on Bonfire and make you a tire marks shirt. I'm going to dedicate a shirt just to you. I'm going to dedicate a shirt one of these days for my merch store just for you. But I do want to buy it. Hey, don't tempt me with a good time. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. We have over 300 people in the room in under 10 minutes, so that's awesome. I'm going to bring up a photo of the women sitting around at the table, and I'm going to ask not only Kempire, but I want to know from you guys who did the best identity swap. Okay, so sorry, LUANN, you got kind of cut out of this one, but she didn't get cut out right here, so we see her. Thank you, Tamara Tattles. Who did the best identity swap? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
I'm giving it to Ramona Singer.
Oh,
I think she did the best. I think that she came, she conquered, she embodied Leah. She took it extra with the gum chewing, but I love that she threw something at her. I thought, like out of being funny. And she was just like, I love, and I'm like, okay, girl, settle down. You need to settle down. But she was embodying Leah. And I think Leah did a good job, a shady job, but I appreciated it when she came in this bad wig with the Pinot Plasma.
Look, for me, it was between Ramona and Sonia. At first, I was like, it was Ramona, but then I forgot. Sonia she gave us Brashawn. I wish she had gotten like a wig so we can get a little bit, Brashawn always has a lot of hair. So I kind of wish we would have gotten that part because she really gave us Brashawn in that moment. I was like, okay, Sonia, I see you.
And what is this? Well, I get that, but what is this with Brashawn when she's like, do you want some Sonia by Sonia Morgan? If you caught in the scene, she's handing out the warrior hats. That's not Sonia by Sonia Morgan. You're sticking in your merch, which we get. Like, we can all appreciate you trying to slide in your business in there. But at the end of the day, that was not what this was about. Brashawn, again, we love you, but you had to have done the worst on this assignment.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you caught the hats because I watched it twice and I didn't even notice the hats. Sorry, Brashawn. Maybe the marketing didn't work. It worked on Adam though.
It worked on me. Yeah, I'm gullible. I'm easy.
Did you buy one?
Oh, Brashawn, you failed. Maybe I need a shirt with tire marks on it. No, I have not bought one. I don't really feel like at this point in my life I need life coaching. So I don't see myself really investing into Brashawn's business as of right now, but that's not to say in the future that I wouldn't. I bought plenty of Skinny Girl Margarita.
Oh.
So I'm still here supporting my girl Bethany.
How's that?
And it's great.
Really?
Yeah, when I lived in New York, I had a friend named John Victor, and we worked at Barney's together at the restaurant, and he used to love New York the same way I did. And we would serve Bethany and Dorinda. Especially Bethany, she would come in all the time. And then when they would have RHONY come on, we would go after our shift and go down to the little liquor wine store, whatever, get some Skinny Girl Margarita, take it back to his apartment on the Upper East Side. Cause me, I'm frugal. My ass was not living on the Upper East Side. And we would have watch parties and I was here for it.
Wow. The good old days.
The good old days. Where does time go? Anyways, I was investing in her business. I still don't have a Sonia Morgan toaster though.
Well, no one does. I don't even think Sonia has one.
Yeah. So she, at this point, she's just like writing on a piece of tape and like labeling the toaster. And she's like, boom, there you go.
Mind you, it's cuisine art. It's not hers.
Oh, poor Sonia. Okay. So at the end of the day, moral of the story here is, guys, none of us bought any of Brashawn's merch. And if you did, please let me know and send me a photo of it. Somebody said, Katie, what's Brashawn's sign? She's got to be a fire sign. Leah should have screamed more and bucked her eyes and said she has 50 friends. Leah went under the table, which she did.
I didn't like
Adam, I thought I knew you both so well. I still love you both and will always be here. What does that mean? I don't like Leah.
Shade.
But Leah, yeah, I catch your shade. Okay, but that's okay. Ramona shady but funny. Ramona and Sonia. Sonia did a great job too. Leah. Okay.
Leah, at first I was trying not to be, a Leah hater because I think Leah was addressing.
Dude, you've been hating on her since we started, but like a week before we started.
I think she was addressing me when she was throwing down that table, that plate. I was like, is she talking to me? Look, no, I thought her costume, first of all, it wasn't the greatest costume. It wasn't the greatest costume. I thought it was a nasty dig towards Ramona. There's so many things that you can say about Ramona. I felt like the whole plasma thing, because you remember during the season, it was a little nasty. I didn't like that.
It was a touchy subject.
Yeah, and I mean, Ramona was really good about it, but I was just sort of like,
you know what she could have done though is she could have done the catwalk. Remember with the eye? She could have done the Buckeyes with the catwalk, and that would have been perfect. Yeah,
but Ramona was a good sport about it. But you're right. I feel like Ramona had the best costume. It was between Ramona and Sonia for me. But Leah, from the wig, the dress. I mean, when she tried to impersonate her, I was like, okay, that's a little bit more believable. But I didn't like the whole plasma dig.
Yeah, and it's still a touchy subject. Like there are still families. You have to look at it like they're trying to have lighthearted fun, but you're walking a fence here, Kelly Dodd. You're walking.
Not Kelly Dodd.
Yeah.
How's she doing?
She started her new podcast with Rick Leventhal, and apparently it's going well. I believe they've only launched one episode. They might be at 2 at this point, but they just started last week, and they are unfiltered. She went off on Heather Dubrow and was like, "What are you gonna sue me? Sue me!" And she was calling her out of her name, all kinds of stuff. So she's still Kelly Dodd.
Oh, she's such a sad, sad woman.
And Rick Leventhal like boosts her up. He said, "Yeah, Kelly, you can say whatever the you want to say on here, can't you? This is our platform."
Oh,
like, all right, go guys, do whatever you want. It's a podcast.
I never watched the OC. I'm gonna try to get into it for this new season because Noella, I think she saw us on here and she followed me. I got scared.
Did she?
She did. I got scared.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, I always say I never know who's watching, and I do get comments from random people. You just really don't know. And that's why I'm always super careful with what I say. I try to be the nice guy and reserve my opinions and let everybody else in the chat give their opinions. And then when I get off of here and you guys can't see me on camera, I'm like, yeah, she's right. Her, liar, cheater, thief.
But if you recall, when we were talking about Noella, I didn't say the nicest of things. So I was like, why is she following me?
Well,
it's all right, Noella. I'm excited to see what Noella's going to bring. So far, she's bringing a lot, and that's offline.
Yeah, and at least it's not total. I mean, it's scandal, but it's not like it's her husband didn't pay his taxes and it wasn't her, and she just married him 2 years ago. So it's not like
Adam, I'm hearing it's more.
No.
It's dark. It's all right though, Noella. I'm here for it.
We also know Ronald Richards was on this, that, you know, she filed for separation, legal separation. And guys, if you don't know who Noella Bergner is, she is the new housewife brought on to Orange County. She was introduced by Bronwyn Windenberg. Bronwyn did an interview saying that she felt like it was a double hit because not only did she find out on the same day that she was being fired from the show, but then she said, "Is my friend getting hired?" And they were like, "Yes, we are keeping Noella. We're hiring her on full time and you are being let go." But Noella Bergner is now going through a divorce with her husband, James, and James is being pursued for $6 million in back taxes. She filed for legal separation in California because that means at this point on, whatever money she makes, she doesn't legally have to give to him. And then he filed for divorce in Puerto Rico.
This couple is shady. She's so funny though. I mean, I know we have gotten off the New York, which is okay. But she posted her watching his commercial.
I saw that last night.
I was like, what is she? I love her already. I'm sorry.
She's being shady, boots. She's being shady, but I can appreciate that. And she just unfollowed Heather Dubrow and the two new girls. So there's stuff happening in the OC. I think this is going to be a great season. When I saw that Shannon Bedore, and listen, I'm all for a love fest, guys, and we're about to get back to RHONY. Don't worry. Also, Ghostly Gamer, thank you. This season was dull. I miss Scary Island. We do too. Lauren Young, no shade. I really think you are beautiful people. I have so much respect. Lauren, thank you. I can't see you aside from this green little super chat in your name, but I think you're beautiful too. But no, Shannon Bedore was photographed with Heather Dubrow, and I'm like, no, this was supposed to be the feud that we're all looking forward to. What are you doing? Unless they already had their conflict and now they're having their resolution, and then, okay, we'll see it in the trailer. But let's get back to RHONY.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
But no, in this episode, so we start with the Galentine's and then we end up going to a Greek restaurant and they're talking about their Valentine's Day woes and what the best Valentine's Day, they've ever had is. They tried keeping this whole episode positive. So immediately Leah is the first one who says, maybe I got a Chanel bag, but I don't know. I'm not the romantic type. I haven't had really a great Valentine's Day. And then she starts crying because we think she misses Rob or we think she wants a moment. I'm not sure. But the point is, I've never gotten a Chanel on Valentine's Day. So what are you crying about, Leah?
Jason!
Keep your head up. Honestly, if he brought me a Chanel home, I'd be like, what the hell do I do with that?
You were like, what's a Chanel?
Yeah, what's a Chanel?
Well, honestly, that moment felt real to me. I think we kind of forgot about her relationship with Rob. So it was sort of like a throwback to her original story. And it was like, in the moment I felt for her. There was a moment where I was like, okay, you're doing a little too much now. Now you're leaning way too into this whole crying situation. But I kind of feel like there is something going on with Rob. And I kind of, not that I can relate, but I get her saying that she didn't get into other relationships because of what's currently going on with trying to co-parent with him. And I think she's still in love with him.
I think that was the only part that I was buying, was the part where she was explaining by being with, in this kind of situationship with Rob and their daughter. They have a dynamic, and she's afraid to bring somebody else in, because if they don't understand that dynamic and they're not comfortable or strong enough to kind of join into this family and understand this is what it is, then that's going to break up her family dynamic. So that's very concerning. I can see that.
I mean, I completely get that. I completely get it. And I understand. And that was the only relatable moment this season that I've had with, well, even last season, that I had with Leah.
No, see, when she was running and hanging from the curtains and tiki torch throwing, I was like, yes,
that is so
I can relate to you now. But after that, when she got sober, I'm like, it's time to recast.
You did not relate to that.
Okay, you're right. But no, and then we end up leaving the Greek restaurant. And like you said, maybe Leah was talking to you because she was like, the haters, while breaking her plate.
I know who I am.
I know who I am. But now it's kind of funny because now she knows that half of like the RHONY fans don't like her. So it was really on point. It's like she could have predicted that everyone was not going to like her for this season.
Yeah. Why did I have a feeling like this particular last episode was filmed recently?
I don't know. I don't think it was
or refilmed. Can we have conspiracy theories?
It could have been refilmed. I mean, like I said, with the other production I've seen, they've had to refilm things before, and like it's months later, and it's the same thing that we caught. By the way, Shannon Van, thanks for recapping and saving me time from watching this lame ASS season. Thank you, Shannon Van. We appreciate you. We've caught before, like on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with Lisa Rinna's daughter, when they're having that talk about, her health concerns. And then we saw a hat, and then we saw a hat with a different logo on it. So we know that they refilmed that scene, right? So they do this, but would they have refilmed a whole night?
I mean, it was a bad season, and they had their worst ratings ever.
Yeah. I still blame the amount of people that were on it. Lauren Young, I don't have a job, but I think it's so important that you both be proud of yourselves. You are uplifting so many people through this time. Hey, thanks, Lauren.
That's sweet, Lauren. I'm
going to lift Kempire up just to tear him back down, just to put him back together and lift him up again. It's great. I feel like I'm in another relationship right here on YouTube.
Oh, my God.
Fantastic.
I think you missed one of Lauren's super chats. Thanks, Lauren.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
I don't go.
Thank you. I only watch you both. I have never commented. I am not someone who comments. Thank you, Lauren. Comment anytime. We welcome you here. And I can't speak for Kempire, but I think he welcomes you there.
I do.
Okay. So moving forward, we see the women dress up. They're getting into character. That's our reunion, or that's our finale.
I know.
My question is, I did have one question. When Leah was saying like the help, do you think she pulled them aside at first? Because I was thinking how obnoxious and awkward I would feel doing that. I could never, but maybe she might have pulled them off to the side and said, listen, I'm going to be obnoxious and rude and disrespectful, but just go with it because I'm trying to embody this like crazy pants who owns this home. Okay. So just.
I think that's just Leah. Leah. I didn't see Ramona when Leah was acting herself. Maybe that's why they don't get along. It's because they're very much alike.
Do you think they're alike?
Mm-hmm. In a lot of different ways.
Okay. So how do you think Ebony K. Williams, I always have to say her full name, impression was when it came to the Countess?
I think she did a good job. She even wore Giovanni. I like the wig. She committed to the role. It
seemed like when LUANN tried to embody Ebony, all she kept on saying was, y'all, girls, big girl group hug, y'all. I'm like, is that all you have? You were the only one upstairs that we saw studying notes, right? Trying to get in character.
But we also know the Countess only puts in minimal work when it comes to singing, when it comes to her cabaret, when it comes to anything that she's doing. It's minimal.
And she never answered the question when she was asked who Ebony K. Williams' alter ego would be. So she scapegoated out of that one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wasn't impressed by LUANN, and that's probably why the rumor on the street that she's coming back as a friend of. But she wasn't the worst. I still feel like Rashawn and Leah were the worst. If anything, Rashawn was definitely the worst because I felt like we just saw Rashawn.
Right. No, I agree with you on that one. She was the one who like she didn't bring it for me.
Sidebar: Rashawn coming in with all that luggage. Like, girl, you're there for a night.
She had to be ready. She had a costume change. Couldn't you tell? Even though we thought this was still her clothes. And she was being a little shady with the Century 21 stuff because you still know, like, this is like doing the Pinot Grigio plasma thing. You know that this woman just lost her business. She's stressing over this money in this company. She's having like breakdowns after a couple of Pinot Grigios, and you're going to take that jab, $10 items?
Sonia took it well, surprisingly. You know, Sonia usually is very, very sensitive. Especially when it comes to those types of things, but she took it well. Maybe she missed it. Maybe she was completely in a whole other world.
Yeah. Again, you know, we've heard so many rumors, and guys, while you're coming in the room, make sure you smash that like button. But we've heard so many rumors about what casting looks like for next season. Obviously, casting has not been confirmed. So that's exactly what they are at this moment. They're rumors. We've seen on Watch What Happens Live where Andy Cohen said that he, if anything, thinks that they should add to the cast that they already have as opposed to recasting the whole franchise. Yeah. But now we're hearing that LUANN, Sonia, and Ramona might be demoted to friends. Now, that doesn't really counteract what he's saying because he said add to the cast. Yeah. And if they're friends, you're not really taking them away.
Yeah,
you're just adding to a cast. And I think they need to follow Beverly Hills. Like, Beverly Hills has 8 women. That's what we need.
8 dynamic women, though. We have to emphasize that. Sidebar.
Dorit Kinsley.
She needs
7 dynamic women and someone who's supposed to be a friend.
Oh, I know. And that's the only reason why they're sort of like going by right now, and it's still entertaining because of the whole situation with Erika Girardi. And of course, Sutton and Garcelle are bringing a lot this season. But nothing's really and of course, Kathy and Kyle's relationship has been entertaining this season. But Dorit, of everyone, Dorit is bringing nothing. Even Lisa Rinna, she knows the assignment. I don't love her, but she still, the Thelma to Erika Girardi's Louise, is still bringing a lot more.
I see. My only thing with Lisa Rinna right now is I think that she went in so hard last season that she's holding back for some reason. We don't exactly know why. I cannot believe after 3 months and 1 move later, I have people working above my head again.
Oh, really?
Yes. What is this, a curse? Okay.
We can't hear it, though.
Good. Yeah. But no, with Dorit Kinsley, you know, the realest moment that we got from her was at the Rinna Beauty situation. And guys, we're just going to flip-flop. Sorry. I mean, honestly, we can't talk about the finale this whole time because I'm just going to like take this glass, break it over my desk, and then hit myself in the neck with it because I'm going to Mob Wives myself. But
Mob Wives.
I miss that show. But Erika, when it comes to Beverly Hills, we got a real moment from Dorit because she's like, you know, PK said. And then Garcelle's talking to her and she's like, really? And Dorit goes, really? And I'm like, is that your real accent? Did we just hear it? I think we heard it because right now we get a blender of different accents and I think we might have just got it. And Dear Dana said to me the other day, she said, we need to dig up some of her high school friends and find out what she sounded like before.
Well, to be honest with you, after being in Europe for an extended period of time, and even
I know you're not going to give her this one.
No, no, I feel like there is this sort of assimilation, trust and believe. I never believed it before until I experienced it. There's something that changes. There's still your voice, but there's still something that, especially she lives with the man. Why am I defending Dorit? Look what you did. You're throwing me under a Dorit bus now.
No, I do have to. I get both sides of it. I'm going to give you 2 different variations. One, I have a sister who she grew up in Florida with me for the most part. And then we moved to Tennessee and she ended up staying there. And I believe now she lives in Georgia or Alabama or Tennessee. She lives somewhere. But I just don't know which one it is. They're so close to each other. But she now has a very strong Southern accent and she'll be like, so bro, what are you doing? And I'm like, did I sound like that? And I look back and I watch videos and I did have a little bit of a twang and I got rid of it, I guess, when I moved to LA, but she's picked it up. And now you would think that she has never lived anywhere else. But then I look at like Ladies of London, Marissa Hermer. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
The one who was like trying to sell the hot dogs, and then she moved her life from London to LA, and she never had that sort of British accent. She always sounded like she was from some part of the United States.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just divided.
But look, but you're a perfect example. Look, your accent's gone.
Yeah, but in Florida, we don't really have accents.
Oh, depends on what part of Florida.
Well, I guess that's true. But in like Southern Florida, I never hear people with accents.
Oh, yeah, Southern Florida, not so much.
I don't think I have an accent, you know?
No, you sound very LA.
Oh, thanks. I'll keep that around. Watch, we're gonna be streaming for like 2 years. 2 years later, and I'm gonna be like, "All right, Kempire." So,
I love a Southern accent.
What?
I love a Southern accent. I really do.
I love it too. I just don't love it on me because it's not authentic. I'm just like embodying it.
Oh,
you know. Somebody said right here, Dorit was being hella rude. All right, Naomi. Kris, Dorit is fake, and so is her accent. Renee, I am from Connecticut and live in Connecticut. I do not speak like Dory, nor does anyone else I know from Connecticut speak like her either. Okay. And DNS10 said, Garcelle is going to destroy Dorit at the reunion. Dorit tried to be froggy, points to the corner. Have several seats, Dorito. You guys are being shadier than Kempire is today.
I love it.
Yeah, you're being shady as hell. Okay. And we know too, Garcelle hasn't, and guys, trust me, we'll have a lot to talk about with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills tomorrow because this is going to be an explosive night unless we get a cliffhanger and then we're all going to be pissed off and still talk about it, which is fine. Yeah. But Garcelle has not spoken to Dorit since they wrapped filming, and she said that as of right now, she has nothing to say to her, and she will just speak to her and say everything that she does have to say at the reunion. Which for Dorit, you better come with more than your fashions, girl. Better have something on the inside ready to pour out because the Chanel's not saving you today.
I mean, it's going to be exciting. Aren't they filming the reunion this week? Because he was asking a question.
I mean, honestly, it could be filming today. It could have been yesterday. It might be tomorrow. We don't know yet until normally, like we said before with RHONY, you pointed out that there were no questions that were posted. Now, if you follow Ronald Richards on Twitter, which I'm almost at the point where I wake up and I'm like, what did Ronald Richards say last night while I was sleeping? And I saw where Andy Cohen said, hey guys, my team and I are gearing up for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. So send us any questions you may have. And he's like, oh, I have 3 questions for you. And it was regarding Erika and where the money is and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, Ronald Richards, I don't think that they're necessarily going to take your questions. But my point was they're asking the questions that you were talking about that they didn't ask for RHONY. And normally when we see that they do a reunion, we always get like a fun little teaser, a little like social media shot of the women in their dresses or something. And it's usually on Andy Cohen's feed. We haven't seen that yet either.
No.
And it better not be a Zoom reunion.
Wait, I have to show this to you. I wanted to see it. I don't know if you can see this. So after he posted this, someone posted this question. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Liz from Phoenix?
Yeah. Kyle, if Tom Girardi had broken into your house and I did see this and stole your handbag collection and the jewelry you inherited from your mother and gave it all to Erika, should she be able to keep it because it was a gift from Tom?
I think that's a valid question.
It's a valid question, but the fan, I wouldn't even call Liz a fan at this point because if you're going in that hard, you're just watching the show. But I think, honestly, you can put so many different examples on it. At the end of the day, it's not right, and I always try to play devil's advocate because some people tell me because of my videos, they're like, and I know, don't read the comments, don't internalize them. I get it, Kempire. I save the therapy, life coaching, Bershon stuff for me for later. I understand. But no, seriously though, people will be like, Adam, we know that you're saying it's, the victims are the most important, but I feel like you're sticking up for Erika. And I just keep saying the same thing. This is not my job. This is the court's job. And they're going to let us know. Same thing with Jen Shaw. Same thing that happened with Teresa Giudice. They're going to let us know eventually exactly what the hell happened. Where did the money go? And who's responsible? When they do, we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, we have to kind of play speculation.
Yeah. Do they really think that you're on Erika's side?
I'm not team. Listen, I don't want to see anybody have their life ripped apart. I don't want to see death threats go to somebody. I think that's atrocious. I don't want to see any of that. What I want to see is the victims get their money back And then whatever they can do to Tom Girardi for committing these acts, because if they can prove, which they pretty much are on that path, right?
Yeah.
Whatever they can do to make him accountable within the guidelines of him having amnesia and dementia, I would like to see that happen and the victims get their money back. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see death threats. I don't want to see people picketing outside of your house and like throwing, animal blood on your driveway and being like, liar. I don't want to see that stuff, No.
I know we've deviated a lot, but I think everyone loves this conversation more than RHONY. But did you see, I don't have to show it. Did you see this Instagram story last night?
Yeah, everyone's wondering, what does that mean?
I wanted to ask your interpretation.
My interpretation, I think she was playing charades, and I think that they were like, okay, you get to use one word, and you have to use one word, and they had an action for that one word, and you have to post the word. And then I think Lisa Rinna and Dorit were like sitting there, and they were stealing money out of a purse, and then she was like, boom, Girardi.
That is a great interpretation.
That's my interpretation. Again, guys, we're just being funny. That didn't happen, so don't hold me accountable. But what was your interpretation, Kempire?
I feel like I don't really have a solid interpretation because it's open to interpretation. The way I took that is as if she's leaning in. Girardi is Tom's last name. It's not her it's her married last name. It's not her maiden name. So for me, it's sort of her leaning in to her support of Tom, and everything that we have been speculating on what she's been saying on the current season seems as if, okay, I'm going to lean in. Either way, she needs to get off of social media because she's hurting her case. If I was her attorney, I'd be so upset.
Yeah, you and Jen Shah's attorney both. But leaning in, like right now, I have to say, like watching the fans' reactions and stuff, everyone wants her to speak on behalf of the victims. And the only person and the only time we've kind of gotten that moment a little bit here was when Garcelle said the victims are the most important. And she kind of looked very stoic. I believe that's the right word, but stoic. And she's like, yes, I agree. The victims are the most important. Kind of like Dana Wilkie said, she kind of came off like a little robotic android.
Yeah.
And she's, but that's not really giving any emotion. And we know she's the ice queen, right? But we're not getting a whole lot of emotion for the victims. All we're getting is you saying, I think this man didn't know what he was doing. But that all gets dismantled when you talk about how long this has gone back. Like, when did he start getting dementia, amnesia, Alzheimer's? When did that start happening? Did that start happening 20 years ago? Because this is not a new act. It just kind of got worse. And finally, after Snowball, it's like the same thing. I'm not comparing the two, but Bernie Madoff eventually could not keep up with what he was doing. It got the best of him. And once he got so far in, he had to keep participating in these acts to get himself out, to get himself back in, to get himself back out, to get himself back in. And for Tom Girardi, I'm reading the fans' comments and some lawyers' comments, and it kind of seems that's what happened to him.
Yeah.
So you can't say what she's saying.
Yeah. And we have to remember this has been going on for more than 10 years. Honestly, this has been going on longer than that. Also, based on what I've heard from doctors, medical professionals, having Alzheimer's or dementia doesn't make you do criminal acts necessarily.
Right. But I think what she's saying, from what I'm interpreting on the show, is that she thinks that like this all got ahead of him. And he was just trying to still be the powerhouse attorney that he was. And he just kind of lost his way along the way. Because after this accident 2-3 years ago, right? And him being ejected from a car and laying there for 12 hours and allegedly breaking his clavicle and other shit, I don't know. But after all of this happening, something changed. And she'd be like, babe, you can't see. I can see, I'm fine. No, you can't see. That was probably my best interpretation.
Right.
But she kind of alluded to this starting to happen after that accident. Maybe that was the cause of this. But then again, like you just said, this goes back longer than 10 years. So how that doesn't even, can we use that?
I don't honestly, I couldn't. And her defense of Tom throughout the season, I didn't expect her to in a very subtle way defend Tom throughout the season. And that has made me look at her in a different way. And I'm like, what did you know?
Yeah, well, Drama said keeping up with the Joneses. Yep. And I need Phaedra Parks here. The one, Phaedra Parks says, in my home, I'm the judge and the jury. I need both. And I need a Phaedra Parks opinion. I want to know exactly I want to know what other lawyers really think. Like, I wish I could be a fly on the wall in the room. Even her defense team, because even when attorneys take on clients, whether it's, I'm going to go to the extreme here, like if they're representing somebody who is being pursued for homicide, they go in the room and they're like, did you do it? And they're like, no, I didn't do it. And in their mind, they're like, this kind of paints you in a bad light. Like Legally Blonde. Remember when the guy thought that she killed her husband and Elle Woods was like, no, she didn't kill him. And he's like, just take the plea deal. You killed your husband. I want to know what the defense team actually thinks. Do you think there was foul play? But we would never get those answers.
Yeah, but you also remember her legal team at one point filed documents to drop her because they felt like she wasn't divulging necessary information. And
then she got them back. But how?
Probably paid them. Or her boyfriend paid them.
Somebody paid them. And yeah. I mean, it's just, this is one big ball of messy, and we're gonna have
for us.
Yeah, I just want to see the victims paid. I really do. That's honestly what I want to see. And I think on that day when that money is being dispersed, we should deem that a little Bravo holiday and celebrate on behalf of the victims getting their money. So we're gonna have a whole party here. It's gonna be a pizza party. I'm still frugal. I'm not getting paid anything, so I'm going to go to Little Caesars, get a $5 pizza, and I will share it with you, Kempire, after I deliver the tire marks.
We need we need a party at the Pasadena mansion.
Yeah, which also just got reduced in price again.
To how much?
$8.9. Dana Wilkie was on social media saying that she thinks that it's going to. Her prediction is it's going to get down to $6 million.
I was just thinking that.
I mean, it could. It definitely could, but that's a significantly lower amount. That's literally cutting the price tag in half when, $6 million doesn't even pay the Rui Gomez family, let alone the rest of the victims involved, the creditors, the debtors.
Erika's closet does.
If I could be a fly on that wall.
God only knows what she's doing with all that stuff.
It's sitting in her closet. Like
Allegedly.
She's still allegedly, right? But she still, is maintaining that these are gifts. And even from what I read, and I could be wrong, so I'm just giving you what I think I read. You've been pretty on top of this stuff too. So her defense team is saying that the $14 million in Amex bills, that she shouldn't be responsible for those. Like, that's not her problem, right? Is that what we're hearing?
Yeah.
And if that's true, I just don't know where they're like, this whole game is so slimy.
Yeah. And Erika is not coming out clean so far. And I don't understand how she feels that she doesn't owe any money in this regard, especially that 14 million, when all those charges were for her business. It was for her alleged music career.
Well, now they're going after her for the 25 million, right? Or at least whatever they can get out of that. And I'm just wondering what that will look like for her in the future. And I've said this a million times too. Even if they go after her for 25 million, she will find another man. He will be smart enough to sign a prenup. They won't be able to touch his money. So they'll liquidate her assets. If she goes on the show, she won't really make a paycheck, but she'll stay in the spotlight because they're going to keep taking her money if that's what they decide to do in order to pay the victims. And then she still gets to live in a mansion because she has big pockets over here.
And she still has her glam squad. I don't know if you saw that story.
What?
She still has her glam squad.
I saw that, but I wasn't surprised by that because she did so much for them for so long, even though that was their job. She employed them, but it sounds like they made a lot of money off of her. So it would be really kind of shitty if they were just like, sorry, girl, you're broke now. Gotta go. And I think that they form some relationships with her. Like, you can't just be with someone, travel with them private, go to all of their, events and do everything with them, glam them up all the time, share all your secrets, and then just boot, scoot, and boogie.
And until you're like Sutton and you're like, I'm not sure what Erika knows.
But Sutton doesn't have the same relationship.
Oh, I understand that. But if you have such a close relationship with someone and you don't feel like you know who they really are or what they know or their involvement in possible spending of, wait, I was like, what's coming out? I was like, don't throw anything at me.
No.
It's bad enough you run me over with a bus. So I don't know how I would feel because, I'm a loyal person. I'm loyal. However, when it involves such, I don't know. I don't know until you're in that particular situation. I don't know how I would handle something like that.
Exactly.
But if it's my employer and not my friend, that's something different.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just have to keep watching. What are you looking forward to most on tonight's episode? I do want to ask you that. Is it the Erika Sutton back and forth that we finally get to see at Kathy's house? And do you think we'll get to see it? Or do you think it's going to start and they're going to be like, next time on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
I hope not. I honestly hope not. I feel like they have a lot of content because we're seeing it. And yes, in the beginning of the season, we sort of got that sort of like, teaser, every episode. But ever since then, we've really gotten a lot of content in every episode. I'm kind of looking forward to more of the other Housewives. The Erika stuff is very dark. So even seeing it, sometimes I'm like, even reporting on it, sometimes I'm like, oh God, here we go with another situation with them. Unless it's light and funny, because some of the stuff can be light and funny. Like last night, I reported on that whole Erika and Lisa Rinna connection and the Thelma comment that Lisa left on her picture. So like that stuff I can, have fun with. But the Erika story is, in reality, there are victims. There are real victims that probably won't see their winnings that they got from their lawsuit. So that's sad to me, especially because these people need it. But I kind of hope we get more from Garcelle in regards to her interaction with the ladies, because that's always funny, because I already said Garcelle doesn't really have a storyline, but I like how she interacts with everyone. And Sutton, I want to see a little bit more of that. And of course, every week we get a surprise from Kathy Hilton. Yeah,
and I like seeing, the inside of Kathy Hilton's humble abode, because it just keeps me interested. And I think this time she's the host. Yes. So how will she handle this as the host? Will she take charge? Or if you notice, she usually takes a step to the back when they all start fighting. And she made a promise to her daughters, because her daughters did not want her to be on the show. She said, I promise you, like, if there's any conflict, anything like that, I will not be involved in it. And she really hasn't. She throws like little comments in here and there, but she doesn't really get involved. And also, the women are not stupid. They know who the real Miss Beverly Hills in the room is. And it's Kathy Hilton. That is not the person you want to mess with.
I think after this episode, people are going to really dislike Erika, because we're seeing a little bit more of the scene, and it's like, it gets ugly. Oh, now we're talking about it. I'm excited for tonight.
Well, even Sutton said on the interview, or in an interview she did, she said, you think it looks bad on camera. Yeah, it's going to be a lot, but in person, it was 10 times worse, because mind you, we're getting a very edited down version of this. Yep. I'm sure from that moment, can you even imagine walking in Sutton's shoes, where the rest of the night you have to be around this person after threatening you and just being like, and Kyle Richards, we're hearing that Kyle's like, really, Sutton, like, what is Erika going to do to you? But we've seen Housewives before drag people across the table, drag them off the reunion floor, slap them in the face, splash them with wine. You don't know what she's going to do to you. And Sutton's a good old Southern belle. She's not built for it.
And Dorit, where's your bully comment now?
Dorit's keeping her mouth shut, because I think they're scared of Erika. The only person who's not is, Kathy Hilton, who's looking across the table like, security. She's pulling a Kenya Moore. Security, take her to the dungeon.
It makes me wonder what they know, because the whole Tom situation is dark. Tom had power, maybe still has a little power in California and probably across the United States, especially in the legal field. He had a lot of politicians allegedly in his pocket. So maybe they're concerned about that.
But also maybe they're concerned about themselves, because you don't know what the other women know about them. So they're like, listen, I'm not going to pull out your shit, because I don't want you to start digging into my shit. Because we've heard rumors on a lot of the ladies, you know, like Dorit Kemsley, she had her assets frozen for some time. Ronald Richards did a deep dive into Lisa Rinna's mortgage. Kyle Richards, her house when they first moved in, it got robbed on the few days that there were actually no cameras and they were out of town. You know, like we've heard things about every single person at the table except for really Sutton, Garcelle, Crystal. We've heard things about the Fox Force 5. Basically, that's who we've heard things about. And it's all speculation and rumors, but maybe I'm thinking in my head, they would not want to cross Erika because you don't know what everyone actually knows. When Erika said, I'm not here for that small town bullshit. Like, that's not what this is. This isn't a small town. Yes, it is. Like West Hollywood was a little small town within Los Angeles and it bordered Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is like the upper echelon and like these social communities where they all see each other at events and charity events. Like we've seen Bling Empire. What are you talking about? It's definitely a small town. Everyone knows everyone. And she
knows. That's the thing. Erika is a bully because she knows who she can get away with that. And I'm so mad at some of the other ladies that are real friends with Sutton. They didn't have her back in that moment. There's no way. If that's my friend, you're not going to be yelling at her like that. Even if you're my friend too, I'm like, girl, calm down.
Yeah. We don't know. Garcelle might say something.
She better, or I'm going to look at her with a side eye.
She might. Taki Toya said the faux farce fives reputations are in the gutter. Okay. Yep. Why did they sit Sutton directly by Erika, knowing how volatile Erika can get? I've said this. I said this the other day. Thank you, Ivy Girl 06. I said this because I was like, this is shady as hell. You guys had a sit down at Dorit Kemsley's house. You talked about, you know, having this conversation with Erika. Fast forward to Kyle's party. You sit Sutton right next to Erika, knowing that this is going to be thrown into your lap, and then go over to Lisa Rinna's party. Crystal Kung Minkoff did not do that, but then I'm noticing now after this happened at Rinna Beauty, and we saw the back and forth where she's pretty much telling her to shut the hell up, eat a cracker. She's pulling some Dr. Wendy Osefo Robin shit over here. She's telling her to be quiet. Fast forward, we go to Kathy Hilton's house. I don't think Kathy would have sat them next to each other. I feel like that was a producer thing.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting these two right next to each other. So uncomfortable. You did it because it's going to create a moment. And she has to, instead of looking at her across the table and saying something, she's going to turn her head and go and say exactly what she wants to say.
I'm here for it. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a good episode. It makes up, look, we have almost 800 people in the chat. And just because they'd rather us talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills than this terrible, terrible season finale of RHONY.
You know what I think about RHONY? Exactly what you think about this wig.
Oh, that picture.
Yes. That's the same thing. And if they asked me, if I went to the Greek restaurant and they said, let something go, I'd be like, goodbye, RHONY. Give us Salt Lake City. And I would smash my plate.
I hope Salt Lake City lives up to what we are expecting.
We're getting the scandal. It's going. It's coming. I think
because Jen can't help herself.
Not hot, but cold. See what I did there? Yes. But no, I honestly think it will. I hope so too. You know, I know we've talked about this. I hope it does deliver. I'm excited to talk about it and also get back more into asking questions about like the Mormon community and some of the things that go on there, because you know, like I don't like to act like I know. So I like to ask Jason, because Jason, at least that's one episode or one show that I can sit down with him and watch it. And he gets into it because I have so many questions. And Jason's not like the type when you're watching something like, can you shut the hell up? I'm watching this. He will sit there and answer the questions and like shove his mouth full of like popcorn and be like, yeah, this is what that means. And this means this. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Can you rewind it? Because I didn't see what they just said. And he's like, hell no. Stop asking the questions then. If you want me to rewind it, most of the time, no.
That's going to be good. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I can't wait either. So guys, with that, it's a wrap on RHONY as of right now. We're getting a few never before seen scenes or deleted scenes or whatever. If you guys want to watch it, I'll talk to Kempire next week after watching the episode and see if there's anything really to dig into. And if there is, then we can talk about it. If there's not, at least next week, at the end of the week, we will be getting our Salt Lake City women back. So cheers to that.
Definitely. I'm excited.
And also Apple is getting a lot of their good shows back, like the morning show and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see like just some good television again.
Yeah.
And of course, tonight's episode of Beverly Hills, because that's going to be insane. All right, Kempire. With that, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining me. We ran almost an hour. It was 55 minutes. I don't know if you ever saw the date bus. Did you see that on MTV where you could take the $55 or go on a second date?
I think I have, but I didn't watch it chapter and verse.
Okay. You can take the $55 or go on a second recap. It's your pick. Just send me a text.
$55, please.
And before you go, guys, here's the monologue.
Guys, don't forget you can follow me on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel where you can get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. Thank you, Adam, for having me.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for letting me run you over again and again and again and again and again. And you started to run me back over too. So this is a two-way street, friend.
Well,
I run you over and then you like jump back up. And then I feel like you're like pulling me out of this, like the driver's side, throwing me in the road. And then you just hit me with the bus. Like I try to hit you with like a nice, like a punch buggy or maybe a Prius. And I feel like you try to hit me with like an 18-wheeler.
All we need now is the merch. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Kempire.
Bye.
Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, show some love. We will be back tomorrow to talk Beverly Hills. And I have 3 pre-records dropping for you guys today. I will drop the first one probably right now. So that was Jason calling me when I was off. Now I have to go call him and see what he wants. Love you guys. Bye.